This is Michelle Biggs, CEO of My Best Everyday Coaching and Consulting, and the host of Real Conversations with Michelle. Tonight, I bring to you the last episode of 2021, but it is one of my favorite ones because it is talking about entrepreneurship, and I think about how I came about entrepreneurship, and it was a lesson. It was a lesson. A lot of things that I've learned, a lot of things that I know I'll step back and think about maybe doing differently as I think about the new year. And tonight, I have some ladies who have started their own business from things that they love to do, and I know for me, with my love for coaching, when I decided to turn coaching into a business, it was something that was really near and dear to my heart, and really I just had a lot of passion about it because it was something that I really love to do. So we want to make sure that you are starting on the right track. So you'll hear from these two women and a coach, a business coach, hear about their journeys and what they learned and tips, and be able to ask some questions. We'll have an opportunity for you to ask some questions as well. But before I get started, for those of you who do not know me, I am a human resources professional, 34 years, 14 years with a investment bank, and 20 years now with a global pharmaceutical company. I am also a master certified life coach, and now I can officially say I'm also an associate certified coach through the International Coaching Federation as well. And I just love helping and partnering with people to be their best. So tonight is no different. My motto for Real Conversations is really learning and growing together, and that we will do tonight. Like anything else, do your research, y'all. We're going to share our experiences, but like anything else, do your research so you can make sure that what you are doing or what you want to do really is going to work for you. So, without further ado, let me introduce my guest. First up, Miss Sonia Matheny. Hello, Sonia.
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, hey, hey. Talk a little bit about who you are and the business that you started. How long have you been in business?
Yes, my name is Sonia Matheny. My business is Matheny Media. I use my last name's very unique. I've never met anyone outside of my family with my name. So I thought it would be really cool to do that. So I have been doing photography for several years now, and I'm trying to really count it back. But I established my business in 2015. But actually, long before that, I had just had a passion for capturing images, all from as far as I can remember with the wind up cameras before I actually got a real camera, taking photography in high school. Kind of always interested in graphic design and just doing different things to really do that for fun. It truly was a hobby. And I had taken a trip to Germany, and I had a frustration because those little handheld cameras weren't doing it for me anymore. I wanted more clarity. I wanted really good pictures. And I had already been working hard. I've had an IT career. And so I saved up and I got a DSLR camera. So that's really the heavy duty camera with the detachable lens.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that just in time as I was headed to Germany, which was my first time going there. And I was just like, I gotta have really nice pictures. Once I came back from Germany, I really just started putting the camera to work and taking it everywhere. We've mentored together, so I would show
Yeah.
up at our mentor sessions, capturing the program that we were working with. Every social event, house party, you name it. And what eventually developed is that my friends would say, "Hey, I'm ready to do my holiday cards. Can you take my pictures? You take good pictures." And so I was, "Hey, no problem. I'll do that. You know, you're a friend of mine." And then it became, one year, and then the next year the same friends were, "Hey, we like the pictures you take. How much
Mm-hmm.
can you charge? Do you have?" And then those friends started telling other people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I was just like, "Oh, wait." So one I actually can attribute Miss Devin Brown is has always been persistent with saying, Sonia, where's your price list? Right? Like, what do you mean? I just like doing this." And she was
Yeah.
like, "Well, I would like to pay you."
Mm. So we're gonna get into that. Don't go any further because we're gonna get into a little bit of
Yeah.
that in a few minutes. So let
So
me bring
yeah,
up, yeah, yeah. So let me bring up my next guest because you going right in. Let me hold on one second. Hold up. All right, Stacy Neal.
Hey guys, how are
Hey,
you?
Stacy. Good, good. So talk a little bit about yourself, the business that you started, and how long you've been in your business.
So I'm fairly a newbie. The name of my business is called Cookie Ecstasy. So everybody gets a little thrown off by it anyway, ecstasy, but it's purely ecstasy, the word ecstasy, and then my name is Stacy at the end. And what it is just simply a pure bliss to everybody. Like my cookies are good, y'all.
Okay.
So, basically, I think I'm one of the few who was not like a big passionate baker.
Hmm.
So this came maybe it was last year. So I've been in business since legally this year, but started it last year. And I was baking cookies with my daughter, and honestly, it was a thought that came to my head. It was during the pandemic. I didn't have a job. And so I'm like, what else can I do for supplemental income? I don't have the time, to work out a part-time job. So what can I do? So basically, it just came to me. I told my homegirl one day, you know what? I think I'm just gonna start selling cookies. The next day, I put it on Facebook and Instagram, and I got a lot of feedback. And so I was, just hustling cookies, and it was during this time last year. So Christmas is, pretty big,
Hmm.
and it just took off. And I'm like, okay, so if I'm gonna do this for real, let's get to it. So
Yeah.
I try to find, like different classes, and I found out that it's really not a lot of baking classes specifically
Hmm.
for cookies. They have
Hmm.
like, macarons or cakes or whatever. But it's not really a specific person.
Right.
So
And you hold up. You hold up too, because y'all
yeah.
getting into,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because part of the story is, and
Okay.
both of you have talked about it a little bit,
Hmm.
is you start to do some homework, right? Which is
Yeah.
very important when you're setting up a business. And I'll let my business coach talk a little bit more about that. But like anybody who's starting a business, you got to do your homework. If you're going to step into a space, you need to
Right.
know if there's a audience for it, right?
Right.
So a market for it, first of all. But I'm not gonna step on my business coach's toes. Let me bring
Okay.
her on. Miss Sandra Hardy. Hello, Miss
Hi,
Sandra.
ladies. How are you doing?
Good. How
Good,
you
good,
doing?
So great to
good.
be on here. Thank you, Michelle, for having me.
No, thank you. And we met, I think we met over the summer, and I've been following you
Hmm.
on your page, and really enjoy the tips that you provide as well. And I
Thank
was telling
you.
Sandra probably about a week ago, I was like, yeah, I might need to tap into her later on when I step back and figure out my part too, in terms of how I want to continue to grow my business. So thank you for joining me. I know all of you are taking up your time this evening to join. So Sandra, talk a little bit, because you've been talk about your business as well, right? How long did you start? Was it a passion of yours? Was it something that you turned a hobby into something, into a business as
Okay,
well?
okay.
So
No, thank
yeah.
you. So, I am Sandra Hardy. I am the CEO of my company, Boots to Heels. I work with small women that have small businesses to help them to increase their revenue, their customer base, help them with any kind of a transitional things that they're going to through as they're doing their business. So I help them to get that bottom line up. Basically, is what I do. And when I started my business started from a momentum. So basically around 2003, my life took the turn for the worst. I was already a chaotic time in my life, because I was already helping soldiers to. I was in the military. I was helping soldiers to get prepared to leave their families and go into war. And I received this phone call that changed my life forever. It was the words on it was, "Hi, I'm Red Cross, and is this Sandra Hardy?" And I said yes. And they said, "Well, your mother had a stroke, and
Mm.
2 weeks ago, and it took 2 weeks for us to find you." And it was at
Mm,
that moment that I became non-deployable. So at that point in my life, I had with it being wartime, I was off active duty because if you have a situation that way, you can't be on active duty. So at that point, I lost my destiny, my future. I was um, everything at that one time. I was so distressed. I was hurt. I was confused. I was scared because at that point, my life changed.
Mhm.
Everything totally changed. But at that pivotal point is when I knew that I no longer wanted to feel that way again, and neither did I ever want another woman to feel that way again. To feel powerless, to feel that you have no way of taking care of your family, no money, you don't know what to do. So at that point is when I decided that I wanted to create something, that a business that I can help other women that are transitioning in their lives and in their businesses, so that they can they'll be able to make and create the money that they want to be able to create in their lives and feel and take back that power in their life.
Yeah.
So that spun out the momentum for for my business that I have now, Boots to Hills. When I actually started my business was 2008. Um, Feeling around, didn't know how. I'm HR specialist, so I knew that um, all I've been doing for 20 something years is helping individuals to find their way, find their lot, their direction, help them to create their path and where they're going to go and what they needed to do. So that was already in me. So when I started my business, it was more personal branding. And then
Mhm.
it evolved from that, because as I began to work with women and I began to tell them, you know, just working for somebody is not your only option. You can start your own business. And then from building from that took me to where I am right now, working with women, helping them in their transitional phase. Because whether you're transitioning in your business or your life, it's all connected when you're a small business owner. There is no separation between personal life and business life. It's all one thing. You hear a lot of people say, well, I don't want to, especially when it comes to social media, I'm going to have a personal page and I'm going to have a business page and
Mhm.
I can post whatever I want on my personal page. Your business page and your brand, personal brand, becomes your business brand until your business can stand on its own legs. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that's
And
a
I'm
very
learning that.
important thing. Hmm.
Yeah, and I'm learning that too. And I see a lot of folks. I mean, Facebook has just exploded. I think how it had originally started and what it's turned into
Hmm.
has changed even the
Right.
9 years or however long I've been using it. But a couple of things I really resonate with you, because for me, as I stepped into this business as a coach, it was through a trauma, right? So for
Mhm,
me, it was my divorce. I
mhm,
decided to get my life coaching certification. And even then, I don't even think I thought of it as a business. It was just something I was trying to do so that I could help other women
right,
specifically,
right,
right, as they were going through divorce. But I never really thought of it as a business.
right,
Came to mind as I was in the class, and of course they talked about the business side of it.
mhm,
But truth be told, I didn't really start working my business until last year. I mean, like
right,
really working it,
right,
right? So,
yeah.
question for all of you, Sandra. Were you going to say something, Sandra?
Well, I'm just going to say that, when you say it takes time, that was another reason that each thing that you go through makes you decide a little further what you want to mainly focus into.
Yes.
So as I was, starting my business, and it wasn't a whole lot out of there, and at that point I wasn't really around other women that had started business, so it was like I had to learn everything from scratch. And that was another thing that I said, I don't want women that are starting their business to have to learn everything from scratch. It takes longer. The path, you're going to get there, but you have to go through such a slow pace to get there, unless you have somebody that already knows those steps.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was going to say.
And we're going to get into a little bit of that. So, and Stacy and Sonia, you already started tapping into this. So, what have you guys done to set yourself up for success? Because as you guys alluded to, you had a thought, but you started doing some research. I think you both were starting thinking about it. Sonia, you were talking about exploring cameras and the different types of cameras and all that other stuff. And Stacy, you got into it. So Stacy, why don't you start? What did you do to set yourself? How did you set yourself up for success?
So basically, after I just thought about like, okay, let's go ahead and just turn this into a business. This could actually be lucrative. There's not really any bakeries hardly in the Raleigh area just specifically for cookies. And if it is for cookies, it's the gourmet, ooey gooey, over the
Mm-hmm.
top, whatever. So basically, it was doing research on competition, who's in the area, kind of seeing how they ran their business. Because, like Sandra said, I had friends who started businesses. It was a big epidemic of everybody, posting, "Oh, I got an LLC, I got an LLC, I got,"
Mm-hmm.
that's good. But what next? So what do you do after that point? What do you social media is big. I'm a millennial, but even if you're not, it's still, really, really big. So how do you get your social media presence out? How do you, post consistently? How do you get your food to look presentable so that people can want to buy from you? Because
Mm-hmm.
everybody's, a visual, they eat with their eyes before, their actual mouth. And just researching in that area, researching recipes, because I'm not a baker, so of course, we were into Pinterest. But
Mm-hmm.
with Pinterest, you see that everybody can't bake, everybody can't cook, and you're like, this
And it
is
all
not
definitely don't
what
look and it all don't look appetizing either. It doesn't look
it
appetizing
does
either.
Or
not look
sometimes it look good and
appetizing.
don't taste good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true too,
Exactly.
that's
Sandra.
It
it.
gets you
Yeah.
that way too.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That is exactly what it was. And I'm like, you know what? This is bland. For me and mine, I'm going to need some more sugar and we're going to need to season this flour. So you just kind of come up with different ways that after a while, it just became recipes catered to me. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, it's literally still going, learning as I go. Because there's nobody really around to kind of be like, hey, I'm a baker. Let me just kind of take you here. I specifically
Mm-hmm.
do cookies. Let me take you here. So, um, hopefully I can be that person eventually to other people who are interested in it, but it is a learning process.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I wish I would have did more research beforehand because I probably wouldn't have got into it. So
Really?
I'm kind of glad. Yeah, because it's a little overwhelming. It's a little
Mm-hmm.
overwhelming. And it's tiring. And it's daunting. So you have to kind of get a love for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So without it, I probably wouldn't have done it, but I'm glad I jumped in and I'm learning along the way.
Okay.
Because it's become really, really therapeutic at this point.
Okay. So you found a way to make it work for you.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And what did that process take?
Um, Woof. It was saying quitting several times. I'm not gonna do this, and
Okay.
then every time I try to get out, it will pull me back in. Hey, I need a big order. Or okay, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm really tired. I'm in school full time. I'm a mom. Hey, I need this. And it just
Mm.
kept pulling me back in. So I always
Mm-hmm.
like to say the bacon life chose me. I didn't choose it.
Right.
And it just keeps choosing me,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm
Mm-hmm.
just kind of, going with the flow of it and starting to enjoy it.
Okay. All right. Sonia, what about yourself? What have
Yeah,
you done to set yourself up for success?
yeah. I mean, can we, before I answer that question, can I
Mm-hmm.
say that first I had to believe that I could be successful?
Yes.
So from that
Absolutely.
standpoint,
Absolutely.
and I think Sandra touched on that from a confidence standpoint. So
Hmm.
it's that hard. It's that I was speaking with a friend the other day and we brought up the topic of analysis paralysis. That's where you
Mm-hmm.
analyze something so much that you can't move, you get stuck. And so I had to
Yeah.
unstick myself a bit in doing so. With photography being my passion, I started connecting with people who already do it. And I have to give a major shout out to just the many photographers in my area where some people may look at it and say, "Oh, you're competing with me," but if there's a meme on IG that is just like, yeah, a lot of people do it, but they're not you, right? So
Exactly.
I encountered a lot of people who were like, "Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, I'll show you. I don't mind, and come on out. You can help me. You can assist me. As they already have, they're booked up, and sometimes even can't take on some of the work that's coming their way because it's so um, it's just such a high demand out here. So I've met some wonderful people on this path who have really just said, "Oh yeah, I can show you this. I can show you that." So it starts there from just relationships and resources. First, so confidence first, because then well, how much should I charge? Well, I don't feel that confident, so I'm just going to do it for free. Or I don't feel that confident, so I'm going to knock the price way, way down because for some reason that seems like a business strategy to kind of undercut your value or not know. Maybe we just don't know our value at that point. And so and then let me touch on what Stacy said from yeah, photography chose me, and it did so at a time where I'm involved with a lot of things. I stay busy, and so I had to find some balance. And I'm very intent. Sometimes people say, "Hey, what's?" I think Michelle, you asked. You said, "What do you got coming up in the spring?" And I said, "Nothing." And I said it. But when I do have something, I pour a lot of energy into it. But I mentioned that only to say that I'm very intent on when I can ramp up and pour a lot into this and when I can't.
Yeah. And that's important. And one of the
Yeah.
things I want to talk about, because I think every single one of us, Stacey, I don't know if you're working full time now, but I know I
Mhm.
started my business. I'm still working full time. Sonia, I know that's the case for you, Sandra, as well. But something you brought up just made me think, and to me it's important, and Sandra, love to get your opinion on this. When you're starting up, there is a tendency to compare yourself to others. Right. And I love the quote you just stated, Sonia. There's no one like you, right? And we can get into this
Mhm.
space where we're comparing ourselves to other.
Mhm.
And how do you set yourself apart? Because if you get
Right.
yourself into that comparison phase, it could be a blocker. It can really
Right.
you can really become stuck. Sandra, what do you have to say about that?
Most definitely. You want to, whenever you're in a market, I always tell people there's always going to be somebody that's doing what you do. There's nothing new under the sun, but what is new is what you bring to the table of whatever it is that you're doing. So yes, learn the craft, but don't become a duplicate of anybody that you're looking at, or don't adopt their practices to the point to where you are identical to them, because the whole purpose is for you to be unique and stand out, because that's the only way your customers are going to find you. If you look like everybody else, then you're going to miss those that you're supposed to be meeting and selling and producing to. So it's definitely, you want to be unique. You want to sit and think about what it is that's unique about you, what's different about you, and then those are the things that you want to magnify when you are talking to individuals or when you are marketing your business. You want to show them the things that stand out, because those particular things are the things that are going to attract your ideal client. So
Yeah.
the uniqueness is definitely it.
Yeah, and if I can add to that, so my career is a IT project manager, or
Mhm.
traditionally it's been that. I've just changed. But in that, I don't separate that from the photography. So guess what? When I'm working with people, I want to talk to you before we show up. I want to know a bit about who you are. I want to know how you even want to see yourself. I want to know what environment you like, and I take a lot of that planning into what I do before I even pick up the camera at all.
Well, Sonia, what that works on is helping you to build your the characteristics of your ideal client. Because
Hmm.
the more you know about your customer, the more you can speak. I call it the love language to your love buying language to your customer. You speak to them, and you will resonate in a crowd. So I always tell people, I said, the problem a lot of times, a lot of business owners want to try to sell to everyone. So
Yeah.
that's just like standing in the middle of a crowd and just screaming out loud, and then everybody just walking by. Nobody knows, they're just looking at you because you're not talking to any individual person. But the more you begin to and bring that in and be more specific, and the more specific that you can be, then you begin to speak just to that one person, and then that one person in that crowd is going to be the one that turn around and look while everybody else is moving, because you're saying the things that resonate to them. You're reaching their points. Well, some say pain points, I say pleasure points, those things that make you want to go out and spend that money or buy whatever it is that you need to want to purchase.
Yeah, and Sandra, I do believe some of it is trial and error, and you just can't be afraid to step out there and try something, right? To see if it lands and sticks, right?
Well, well, yes and no.
Okay, say more.
You can spend a lot of time throwing things up against the wall, but the more specific you begin to sit and think about who it is that you want to work for,
Yeah,
who you want to be your client, the more specific you'll get, and the less mess you'll have on the walls.
right,
Because
right.
at that point you'll know exactly who it is that I'm targeting, because
Mhm.
then at that point you know how much you can charge, you know who's going to pay that amount. So it takes all the guesswork out. The more you begin, more specific you get on who it is that you're targeting. So those are I call the foundational parts of a business.
Right.
When we use, a lot of times when we do go to business, that's how we actually start. A lot of small business owners start that way. I
Right.
started that way because I didn't understand the fundamentals of that foundation. Who is
Mhm.
it? Who am I targeting to? Who am I speaking to? What am I saying? How should I say it? What do they like?
Mhm. Mhm.
Being more specific, then at that point I know whatever I charge, I'm not gonna have a problem getting that, because I'm speaking to my customer. My customer is gonna pay
Right.
that amount, because I've
Right.
already researched that to know that they'll pay it. They won't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
But when we do a lot of trial and error. A lot of times we wind up with clients that we don't really
Mhm.
want.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah. Yeah.
those that want to bargain you down,
Well, and
to
that
and
speaks, yeah, yeah, and that speaks to Sonia's point in terms of the free stuff versus
right.
discounts. And I remember someone told me, and I remember him saying this in Vince. I don't know if you're listening to me, but I remember Vince Bay, and we and I were talking. And this is when I early on when I was about to launch, and then I held off. But it's like start off charging what you want. If you
Mhm.
shortcut yourself, that's what people are going to expect that you're going to be
That's right.
charging,
I
right? So
did a
don't
live on that.
shortchange yourself. Yeah, yeah. Does that resonate, Sandra?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a
Yeah.
live on that. You teach people on how to treat you. You teach your customers on what how to treat you. So if you are always the one that they can discount to, then they're going to discount to you.
Mm-hmm.
But then they'll pay full price to somebody else.
Right.
So when you look at that, you've taught them that you're the bargain person to come to. So
Mm-hmm.
whenever they want to spend less money or they want to get a deal, they're going to come to you. But when they're ready to pay the big money, then they're going to go to the person that they know that has told them or shown them that this is, if you want to work with me, or if you want my product, or you want this is what you got to pay. And
Yeah.
they're going to pay
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So who do you want to be? Do you want to be the bargain person, or they get the pennies, or do you want to be the person that get the dollar bills that they have that they want to put out? So it just
Yeah, and look for the hints, right? If someone's coming in and saying, "Hey, my wedding's next week," now sometimes things happen, you know. Sometimes things happen, and other
Yeah.
times there's some hints in terms of the approach of how people come to you. And I got a shout out to Mr. Ken Branson, because he said, "If Sonia, I know you like to give, but set your price point, and if you decide to do something above and beyond once they meet you here, go
Right.
ahead and do it, but
Right.
do not drop."
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah. And oftentimes what I'll do, the repeat customers, I may give a discount to.
Mhm.
Right. So there's other things you can do to recognize people. And I think the other thing that people have to have to understand, and I think those of us who are business owners, there's a lot that we invest in to become business owners, right? And a lot of times
Right.
when you were setting out price, you got to think about that price point as well, right? And don't cut
Mhm.
yourself short, right? Because for I know for me, I got to get certifications, I got to, licenses, things like that. You may have to go
Mhm.
to school, Stacy,
Mhm.
right, to learn a craft or a different
Hosting
way of
your
cooking.
website.
It
That's
exactly the
it.
website. There's a lot that goes into a business, so
Right.
you don't want to short change yourself there. So know
And
your
I
worth.
actually did that a lot when I first started. It was more okay, well, it is cookies. It's not like it's, photography or anything like that where you're used to paying a bigger number, right? So it's like, okay, look, I can go to Subway and get $3, $4, or
And that's
something
what you
that's
say.
Not here.
right. And I
Yeah,
say, you know
yeah.
That's
what?
not your customer.
You
So
can go
that
ahead.
you
Yeah,
gotta
you can do
you
that.
gotta be willing to let a dollar go to get the right
Mm-hmm.
money that you want. So
Mm-hmm.
It's true. It's very true. And it's like what and again what Sandra was saying with just trying to teach people how what your worth is. And I think a lot of times we know our worth, but we just kind of underestimate that people are gonna pay that much for our worth.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like, okay, I have a dozen, $20, $25. Are people actually going to pay this when they can go here? And people absolutely will.
mhm.
They
Because you're
will.
paying
They
for
sure will.
an emotion. They're paying for an experience. They're paying
Mhm.
for your skill set that they can go into the kitchen and do it. They can go and take pictures. They can go, but it's not going to be your work.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that I had to be like, look, this is what I'm doing, and it's okay if you walk away. So I definitely understand.
Yeah, and there are times, and I have to tell you, there are times I've walked away because I'm just like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And for me, I think what helps me is I do have a full time job, so it's
Mhm.
not like so
Mhm.
I almost feel like, and Sandra, you and I kind of talked about this a little bit, dabbled on. I won't talk about it too much because I won't put a whole lot of stuff out there in the atmosphere. But when I'm ready to do this full time, right? I will come at it differently. But because I
Mhm.
know this is not full time, right? I give myself grace in terms of how I approach the business. But when I'm ready to go full time, I know I'm going to have to step it up and just approach it very differently.
Mhm.
So that said, you guys, one or two things you wish you did as you prepared to launch your business. Song, is anything you wish you did as you prepared? You think back now and say, "Dag, I really wish I did this."
Charge more.
Okay,
We
all
just
right,
finished talking about it.
yeah,
Charge
yeah,
more. Charge regularly, and really, and maybe even set it up sooner than I did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Stacy, how about you? I don't know if you heard the question. I said one or two things you wish you did as you prepared to launch your business.
Woo. Okay. So, do do more research.
Okay.
I wish I would have gotten an accountant sooner.
Mm,
Um, I wish that I would have gotten a business coach sooner.
mm,
Um, to learn about the business aspects of it because even though it's different fields, it's all business is business. So,
Mhm.
whew, other than that, I think that that's pretty much it. Maybe the fundamentals of business. Um, the fundamentals, but everything else, I'm kind of good, glad that I just went right into it.
good, good. I have another business coach on. Linda Jordan, I see you. Linda said, totally agree. Everyone is not our customer. So it's a little bit of a
Mm.
lag here, but cool, cool, cool. Okay. So talk about how you manage full time and doing your side hustle, your business. How do you manage that? And do you treat it as a side
Um,
hustle?
Initially I did. So
Okay.
I still work a full-time job, full-time student, and I have a 2-year-old. So boom.
Mm,
But initially it was last year, and I was case manager and working from home. So I'll be doing cases, I run cases, put cookies in the oven, do this, just running back and forth because I'm home based. And so right now it's management is everything. I have no time. So the time I do have, I really have to manage it. It'll be from, getting up a little bit earlier, or working from home. I can kind of multitask a little bit more. But every hour, every two, I give it to a specific thing and don't go over it.
Mm-hmm.
So after, 2 hours after doing this, okay, move on. Let's just keep moving. It's basically time management at
Mm-hmm.
this point, and not going over the allotted time for it.
Okay. Sonia, how about you?
Yeah, for every person that I work with, I try to set up expectations up front. The
Mhm.
first is that I may not be the fastest in terms of turning around images
Mm-hmm.
because I primarily edit on the weekends, which means that I need a weekend in between. I try not to. Uh, sometimes I feel like it, and most times after work I'm tired.
Mhm.
So I've really tried to manage my time and put a lot of that effort toward a weekend. So my lead time may be a bit longer than the next person. So we talk about that when we're planning. If someone has a birthday coming up, then this is when your shoot should be so that I can deliver so that you can post by your birthday, right?
Yeah.
So that's all part of the conversation that we have in scheduling. And just I require some weekends off, right? So I don't book more than what I'm willing to, where how do I say that? I book keeping in mind that I have to have some balance. I have to have some weekends off.
Yeah. I know if I think about how I said, and Sandra, love to hear your view on this too. I know when I set this up. So even me doing this live stream, it was a way to get my name out there, right? And I was scared to death. Most of you heard my story, scared to death about doing a live stream. But I had a good friend who pushed me to do it. And it was the best thing that I could have done because I'll be honest, I've gotten a lot of clients just through having these live stream series. So for me, it was one of the best things that I could do just to get my name out there. But like you, Sonia, I knew even for this series, I said once a month. Because if I tried to do it more than that, I knew I was going to be overwhelmed and it wouldn't be fun. And I wanted to still want it to be fun for me.
Mhm.
And the same thing with coaching. I love it. And although I do it at work, um, for me, clients are in the evening or on the weekends,
Mhm.
right? And I kind of manage my time that way. And it was initially, I thought it was going to be a problem for me, but I have a lot of clients because they work during the day. They prefer the evening to meet
Mhm.
because they can, they don't have to feel rushed or anything like that.
Mhm.
So it worked. But to your point, Sonia, having that balance, I typically leverage Saturday mornings to do my business planning for the week, right? I usually think about, okay, what am I doing this month or what am I doing this week? What do I need to do this week? But it can be done. And Sandra, you and I were talking a little bit about that.
Mhm.
I think last week when we talked. So
Right.
speak a little bit about that in terms of the balance and full
Well,
time work. Hmm.
well, basically, you guys have all touched on it, and it's understanding that you have 24 hours in a day. And if you work a full-time job, then 8 of that is gone. You got to sleep on some part of that. So what's left of it, you have to really designate and give that time a job. What is this? What time is this going to be done? What time is that going to be done? And even down to your personal time, it needs to be set up in there. And don't let anything overlap or take over another thing because they're all important. Your family time is important. Your business is important. Your sanity is important.
Hmm.
Um, so
Mm-hmm.
all of that plays is important when you are looking at we're looking at your day. And then you may have someone that may come in that don't have the busy schedule and they want to, hey, let's go do this or let's go do that. But when you have the mindset that this is what I'm building, I'm building a business, I'm building a legacy. I'm building income for whatever the purpose that you're looking to build it. If it's a part-time business that you just want a little extra cash for, or if you're looking at your business to be something that's going to take you out of working for somebody else, and now you have the flexibility to work your own business and to be able to do the things you want to do when you want to do it, wherever you want to do it, and still be able to make the money, then you have to say, I can't do that and feel
Yeah.
good at saying I can't do that. And if they don't understand, then that's a key that you need to upgrade who you're being around,
Yeah.
because those that are in business understand that there are other things that needs to take place before going hanging here and hanging there. You know, you can say, hey, I got time on Saturday. I marked out an hour or two where it's my personal time if you want to do something then, but you're penciling them in. They're not
Right.
penciling you in because they don't have this, their schedule is not like yours. But
Right.
you giving that, or you helping them to be, or you keeping yourself organized and on track. And you'll begin to see as you do that, those that are not like you begin to fall off, but you'll begin to pull in more that have the conversations that you need to hear, because those that are in business, the conversation is totally different than those that are not. And when you're in business, being around those that are talking business, you learn certain things, you learn trades, you learn the tricks of the trade as you especially move it up and going into your next level.
Yeah.
So most definitely it's managing that time to the T. Everything has to have a purpose and a time when you're doing it, and just setting that time. And Michelle, you were saying that um most of your clients like it because they're working. So if you notice your clientele, you're pulling those that are like you
Yeah.
know. So when you're pulling those that are like you, then you don't have to strain on how you're going to do your business, because those clients that are yours are working within your schedule.
Yeah.
So you're drawing and you're pulling those that are perfect for your where you are right now.
Yes.
Yeah, and
And
that,
so
and Sandra, that like-mindedness plays a part into marketing,
right,
because when you have those like-minded people, they start telling other like-minded people a
right,
lot of times, and that a lot of that word of mouth marketing is done on your behalf.
And let me
right.
tell you something. I've been so blessed this year. Matter of fact, I have a line sister who, in one of her classes, she just happened to be, she's getting her certification as a certified marriage counselor.
Mhm.
And she was just talking about, I helped her with a resume and all this other stuff and how she transitioned and everything. And I kid you not, I got two or three calls
Yeah.
about business. And
Mhm.
again, as you're
It
talking to people
referrals.
and referrals and again, networking is really important as
Right.
well,
Mhm.
right? And I can say, Sonia, like you, I have a plethora of coaches who I engage with, and we just, it's not a competition thing,
Right.
And to me, the minute it becomes a competition thing, then we need to separate, because I feel
Exactly.
like I want to support people.
Right.
Because even doing this, a lot of people say, "Well, why you don't really sell your business?" Like, whoever's for me is going to come,
Mhm.
right? And for me, it is about supporting each other, and I use this platform to do just that. And
Mhm.
I've been blessed for doing it. So I'm not going to stop doing it because of that. I know Linda said something about hiring a virtual assistant, right?
Right.
As
Mhm.
as a help. That's great advice, Linda. And I do know people who have done that,
Right. I
right?
have a virtual assistant.
Mm-hmm.
But and that's a good, that's part of that growing process when you're growing in your business. Now, if you're new and just starting your business, you may not have that influx of that money yet to do that. But then
Yes.
that's something that you putting on your plans for when you are. So that's part of that growth process, because then as you begin to take off those hats, then you can be more of the talent of your business and be able to
Right.
focus more on that talent part. So definitely,
Yeah.
that's true.
So
Michelle, I have a slightly different thought path, real quick,
yes, go
because
ahead.
throughout this session, I've just been pondering, knowing Stacy since she was graduating high school, and even
Wow,
we have
awesome.
a personal
I
relationship.
didn't
I
even know you
know.
knew her that
Awesome.
long.
That's so
Yeah,
wonderful.
I gotta say this because we have a personal relationship, but then she's also been a client. But it started. I don't think we did pictures, but I think I did her makeup
My
for prom.
maternity shoot was fire. My maternity
Yes, and
shoot.
so I was going to say the next. So it started with prom, and
Right.
just using our abilities in our relationship and knowing each other. Then many years later, she's preparing to have her daughter, and I do her maternity pictures. Then her brother's
Right.
graduating, and I do his pictures. And then now
Right.
the business is next, Stacy. So I'm ready when
Yes,
you are.
ma'am.
So that's where just when you look at the timeline, and it just hit me in the midst of in our conversation. And Stacy, I'm really proud of you.
Oh,
Yeah,
see,
and
that's
Oh.
that
you know
building
what?
up. That's that
Well,
women building
it is. And
women.
let me say this. So Sandra, you don't know this, but
Mhm.
these two ladies have been an integral part of my life.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
and I'm so proud of you guys. And Mimi, who couldn't be on, and we'll say a prayer for her because she had a death in her family, so
Yeah.
she couldn't be on. But
Yeah.
these two women were part of my leadership team when I was leading a program mentoring high school girls.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and it's
Yeah.
funny because to see them now doing what they're doing,
Mm-hmm.
I feel proud. Sonia, as soon as I was starting real conversations, I'm like, I need a flyer. And she put it together for me, and then she taught me how to fish
I
myself.
was
So
like,
now
okay, I'm
I'm
gonna
doing
teach you
flyers
how to do
myself. That's exactly.
See.
And look, and I've been doing it ever since, Sandra. And everybody keeps asking me, "Who does your flyers?" I'm like, I'm doing it myself,
Mm-hmm.
it's very cathartic for
See.
me. I love doing it,
Mm-hmm.
but it's women supporting women,
Women
right? As
supporting women.
well.
Yeah.
So and then Sonia did my photo
Mhm.
shoots. I mean, a lot of the stuff that I did, she did my first photo shoot, and
Together we're strong.
it is. It
Mm-hmm.
is. It's
Mhm.
not about
I'm
competing.
proud of all
So
of
It's
you
not.
ladies, both of you. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
I
doing your
really am.
thing.
Because with Michelle with Judah Tribe and how she kind of took me on the wing and it's like, look, you have a platform and you need to give. So
Yes.
you've always been a leader, a giver, having people kind of come out and just showcase their own skills, even
Oh, I
before
appreciate
this
that.
platform. That's
Yeah.
that's been your whole thing. And Sonya, we go back like Cadillac. So um
Never heard that
so
before. That's
No, I
good
haven't,
to
I haven't heard that.
yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Listen,
So we go back, and I'm very proud. And Sonya don't play about her business. She's
No,
gonna
she
do business
doesn't. She
professionally,
sure don't.
respectfully. She's gonna tell you, "Hey, I don't approve of it. You need to wait a minute. Let's do this. I think we
Yeah.
should do this." And she's professionally in a loving way.
Well,
yeah.
and
So I'm
you need
very,
those
very, very
partners,
proud of Sonya.
and you need those
Hmm.
partners who are going to tell you the truth. So this is the other thing. You got to have people around you who are going to tell you the truth,
That's exact. That's right.
Mhm.
right?
That's right.
And I appreciate Sonia for that because Lord knows I've had some funny moments with her. But I appreciate her. I mean, I have what I call my advisory team, and everybody who's on my advisory team, I selected them because I know they're not going to let me show up crazy.
Right.
Right. And I know Sonia, Sandra, even
Mhm.
you and I were talking about the flyers. Like, Michelle, you had the wrong date. I was like, shoot, I had just updated. But I want people to tell me that, right? I don't
Mm-hmm.
want, I want people who
Yeah.
are gonna help me not look crazy out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you're doing it, from your heart. It's not malicious. So,
Right.
also surround
Mhm.
yourself with people who are gonna be supportive, but who are also gonna tell you the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's the other thing I would
Yeah,
say.
and Michelle, who you can call, and just and people are ready to move when like you've built
Yes.
these wonderful relationships
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
when if you agree or you say talk to this person, I'm already dialing the number because I know where like I know you're going to recommend only the best.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that part as
Mhm.
well. So Sandra, I'm looking forward to getting to know you. I know we kind of had
Yes.
a little love on each
Yeah.
other
Awesome.
session, but I love
Right.
everything that you've represented tonight.
Oh, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I'm proud of both
Yeah.
learn for both of you guys. Just listening to you all talk, it's like, yes, that's right. They're just right on point. They just, so
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. I just can't wait to see what
Yeah.
2022 brings for your businesses. It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing, guys. It's gonna be awesome and amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because this is what, not my intent of real conversations, but one of the things that has happened because of real conversations is the connections that are happening right here even today. And for me, I feel truly blessed to even bring people together. It's so funny because if you guys saw the episode I did with my friends, that is one of the funniest episodes that I did, The Power of Friendship. But they say I'm a connector, and I never really thought of myself that way. But through this platform,
Mhm.
I've been able to connect people as well. And again, if it's
Your heart
all
is
of us
just
helping,
beautiful.
yeah, and I appreciate that. So don't make me cry. Okay. So my
Now
other
get
point, we're gonna keep
close.
it going. I know y'all know I can cry now. You know I can put on
That's
some tears in
okay.
a minute. Okay. So, what one piece of advice would you give to someone who would like to turn their craft into a business? If it's something that you haven't talked about yet,
Who's
what's
that
one
for
piece of
me?
advice you would get? Yeah, Sandra, what would you
Okay.
tell them?
Um, well, everybody always focuses on at first they, definitely you want to know whether or not you're going to do an LLC or what type of structure you want to do. You want to have that business plan in place. But the key things, the fundamental things as well, you want to know, who you marketing to. You want to make sure you get your mindset straight, because especially if you're coming out of um if you're an employee, there's a different mindset between an employee and an entrepreneur, and
Mm-hmm.
so if you're an employee, you can show up and not do the work and still get a guaranteed check coming. But if you're an entrepreneur, that's you don't show up, you don't get paid, there's no money coming in. So
Mhm.
first of all is getting the mind together. Secondly, it's we touched on that before, making sure you have for whatever your craft is, making sure that you have an audience, somebody that's going to purchase it or buy it. And understanding the work that goes into it, understanding that a business is a marathon, it's not a sprint. So there are going to be ups and downs until you actually learn the messaging, learn who you're targeting to. And as you begin to fine tune that, you'll see that your money starts coming in more consistently. You start whatever the amount that you want to make a month, know that what you want to make a year, and that depends on how you want to see your job. Are you looking at it as a side gig, or are you looking at it as a full-time business? How much you want to make out of your business, and then how much does that relate in months? How much does that relate in weeks? And then looking at your packaging, what are you selling? Is it appealing to your audience? The pricing, you want to make sure that you're pricing it right. And for example, if you say you want to make um $100,000 a year, so to speak, or $25,000 or $50,000, but you're charging $6 or $7 per item that you're selling. How many people that you gotta sell that
Mhm.
to? But it's really laying that foundation, what you want to sell, who you want to sell it to, how much you want to charge for it, and how you want people to perceive your business. Because if you perceive it to be a business that's on the side, a side business or a side hustle, I don't even like to use that sometimes, because I look at it as a meal. So when you create your
Mm.
plate or your meal, you have your main course and then you have your sides. The sides are not what you put all your energy in. You're putting all your energy into that main course.
Mhm.
So it's the same process when you're determining on how you want to work your business. If you keep the mindset that it's a side hustle, then you don't put as much effort into it as
Mm.
if you were to say that this is my main course, this is my main business that I want to do.
Mm.
And when we look at what 2020 showed us, is most women fell out of the workforce, whether it be they had to leave because of personal reasons, whether family or the business just shut down. So when you have a business that you are already making money in, the stress is not that hard. It's not that you can pivot a lot quicker and a lot easier. So it's if you want to take your business, if you want to take your side business into a major business or turn it into a business, see if it's marketable. I heard Stacy say that she didn't realize at first it was going to be so much work. Make sure that you're going to be able to go sustain it for the long haul. Don't be afraid to restructure. Don't be afraid to reinvent. It's okay as you begin to move through, because as you begin to work, you'll say, this worked, this didn't, this good, this not, and move forward with that. And don't worry about what other people are thinking or saying, because this is your business. This is what you wanted to craft into.
Yeah.
Um,
Some great nuggets there, Sandra. Sandra, if there's one mistake that a lot of new business owners make, what do you find that to be?
Trying to sell to everybody.
Okay.
Trying to sell to everybody. I think that's a really big mistake that a lot have. Also trying to like do ads and stuff like that before they're ready. That's a lot
Mm.
of money that's going out. When you can organically build your business by especially with Facebook, it's free, be able to post to do the um advertisements on your business, on your personal page, create a business page. Start organically first, then as you begin to build that money up, then put it into ads. Otherwise, um a lot of people have ads out, but they don't even know who they're talking to. They don't even have the right language for the customers. So that's just money going out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and multiple streams of income. If you don't have a stream and you have a dribble, you don't need to have several other different businesses or things going. Just focus on one, get that going and making the money out of that, and then add on. So
Mm. Mm. That's a good one. Any
Oh,
parting
Miss
words,
Sandra, I needed
ladies?
you.
Yeah. And
I
I
needed
thought
you
this
in the
was good.
beginning. Lord have mercy.
Well, and the
Oh my
reason
goodness.
I wanted to do this one because there are people who have started businesses
Mm,
from things that again you love to do. Like I said,
yeah,
me, and I do want to get her on because she's a crafter. She's turned a lot of her things into able to make it profitable for her in terms of just selling out of love for something that she loves to do. But a lot of times, for a lot of us, what I find is we get into this space where we can get stuck or we
yeah,
don't approach it right, and you don't want to. You want to set yourself up for success. Right. So this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it around this time because this is also the time where the types of things that you guys do, people, it's the
that's
holiday season.
right.
So people are
Holiday
buying
season.
cookies and, for top,
mm.
Christmas pictures, holiday pictures, and Valentine's Day coming up, Sonia. So she might have all kinds of people
Yeah.
reaching out to her for all kinds of things. So I really did, I have a heart for assisting people. And this is one of the things
This is
that
awesome. This has
I
been
wanted to
awesome.
do. Yeah, I'm getting a
Mm.
lot of great comments. So thank you all for this. Sandra, what do you got coming up? Because I know you do have something coming up that
Oh,
people can take
thank you.
advantage of. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Michelle. I have a workshop that's going to be January 22nd. It's a all-day workshop. It's called Boost the Hills Business 101 workshop. Back to basics, the real sexy part of business. And in that, I'll be talking about just what I was telling you today, getting that foundation down laid, with as far as with business going, making sure you're messaging, identifying your clientele, um, learning your unique selling proposition points, your elevator pitch, getting that down. So when you run into any individual, you can say what it is that you do within the first minute or so, because a lot of people don't have a lot of time to be listening to everything that you do. So being able to sum it down into one or two sentences. Also, I have an individual that is in accounting that's gonna come and show business owners how to do a profit and loss statement, balance statement, income statement, because you don't necessarily need an accountant for that if you don't have the money for that. As long as you know the basics of it, you can do that. And especially with that profit and loss statement, you can actually be able to look at what money's going out and what money's coming in, and be able to trim that down to build more money into your business when you need to.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Miss Stacy, what you got going on? I think you have some sales of cookies, although you may not. What you got going on? What
Um,
you got
so
going
Sales
on,
of
Stacy?
cookies.
What you got going on?
so I like to do my sales kind of sporadically. So between now and Christmas, we will have some type of sale. Not really sure what I want to do in regards to that yet, but it will be at Christmas sale between now and December 23rd.
Okay.
Um,
And tell
but
people what your Facebook,
as far as that,
your
yeah.
page is, your website
Yes.
page. please?
If you want to order, it'll be cookieecstasy.com. But Facebook and Instagram is simply Cookie Ecstasy.
Okay.
I think Instagram is cookie underscore ecstasy.
And I will
But
post
pretty
it.
just the
Yeah,
name.
I'll repost it too on
Okay.
my page so people know how to find you and how to find what your purchase, what you're preparing. Sonia, how about you?
Yeah, so photography's ongoing. I'm done with the holidays. I did that back in November. I'm
Oh,
actually still
Okay.
wow.
delivering some pictures though, but the cards are out. Everyone has their holiday cards already. Hopefully,
Mm.
people. I've gotten one of my own clients' cards in the mail already, so
Okay.
that's been really wonderful. And just to talk about it a little bit is that I got really creative this year and actually called on a local florist, Yvonne
Wow,
House,
nice.
who does these very unique dyeing of the pampas grass and then just these exotic, wonderful, I even say cultural flower arrangements. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had her create an arrangement, dye some pampas grass that was inspired by Kwanzaa in the red,
Oh,
black, and
wow.
green. So just to give you a glimpse
Okay.
of the creativity that went into this year's holiday shoot, we were in an all white space and you had this red, black, and green that just popped out. And many of
Wow.
my clients actually coordinated with those colors. And so it was fantastic. And I look forward to doing more things like that. What's ongoing, and the one thing I want to call out is that, especially as we start the new year, one type of my favorite clients are those who are starting businesses, who have a vision, who want to bring something out about themselves in an image. So I would love to hear from those who are launching their business in 2022 or just working on their media kits, websites, and so forth.
Yes, and she's excellent, you guys. She got me started,
Mm.
and I need to rebook her for next year
Come
to
on, Michelle.
revamp some
It
stuff. I'm
is
coming.
time.
I know, I know. It is, it is. So I'll be booking her. And for me, I have a special going on, just a Christmas package. You know, coaching is a gift, and it's a wonderful gift, especially if you don't know what to get that special someone.
Mhm.
Um, Give the gift of coaching. So I'll make sure I will post that on my page and I'll post the information for all these wonderful women who joined me this evening. I'm gonna put you guys in the green room and I'll join you in a minute. But thank you so much for joining me. I really do
All
appreciate
right.
it. And from what I'm hearing, a lot of good information and insights everybody brought, which to me, if we touch one person, then I've done my job through this series. So I'm gonna put you in the green room. And I just wanted to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This is my last episode for this year, 2021. So I do want to thank all of you for hanging in there with me this year. A lot of great conversations. My head is already spinning about what I want to talk about for 2022. I am taking January off, so I'm giving myself a break. But you know, I'm coming back swinging. And first topic I am going to talk about is a topic, actually topics that we tend to all think about at the beginning of the year, and that is health and fitness and finances. So we're going to kick off the year February talking about those things. So I will see you then. Happy holidays. Be safe. Have a wonderful weekend. And if you want to reach out and just want a free consultation, send me an email at mbiggs.mybest@gmail.com. That is mbiggs@mybest@gmail.com. Take care, everybody.